Have a nice day. Today we learn about file system. Firstly, learn about what is file system. A file system is a method used by the operating system to store and organize the files. It details how data is saved and retrieved from the hard disk. In Linux, all files and folders are arranged in tree structure starting from the root directory. This makes it is easy to locate and managing files. Linux support different file system types such as ext3, ext4 and XFS. Now I explain about Linux file system hierarchy standard. First one is the root directory. Root directory is the topmost directory in Linux. It is the starting point of the Linux file system. All other files and directories are located inside the root directory. No directory exists above the root directory. Only the root user administrator can make changes directly inside the root directory. Normal users cannot create, delete or modify files here. If a normal user tries to create a file inside root directory, Linux shows a permission denied error. Next, we learn about the /bin directory. This bin directory contains the important Linux commands. These commands are used by all users, including root user and normal users. These commands /bin are needed for basic operation of the system. Even if the system has a problem, these commands are still available. Next one is the boot directory. So boot directory contains the files needed to start the Linux operating system. When you turn on the computer, Linux uses the files in /boot to load the operating system. Without these files, the system cannot start properly. Important files in /boot: kernel, the main part of the Linux operating system; grep, the bootloader that helps start Linux; init initial RAM disk, helps the kernel load the drivers needed during the startup. In simple easy definition, the boot directory stores the important files that Linux need to start the operating system. It contains the kernel, grep, bootloader and other startup files. Next we learn about /dev directory. The dev directory contains device files. These files represent the hardware devices connected to the computer. Linux uses these files to communicate with the hardware. Example of devices: hard disk, USB drive, keyboard, mouse, printer, microphone, speaker. Next type of devices: block devices, store data in blocks. Example: hard disk, SSD, USB drive. Character devices means transfer the data one character at a time. Keyboard, mouse, microphone, speaker. In simple definition, the /dev directory contains device files. These files allows Linux to communicate with hardware devices such as hard disk, USB drives, keyboards, mic, printers and speakers. Next we learn about the /etc directory. The /etc directory contains configuration files for the Linux system. These files tell Linux and its programs how to work. It stores system-wide settings, user information, service configuration files. Example of configuration files: /etc/passwd. It stores users account informations. /etc/resolve.conf stores DNS server settings. The next one /etc lockrotate.conf control how log files are managed and rotated. An easy definition: the / directory stores the configuration of files for Linux. These files contain the settings that control how the operating system and applications work. Next, we learn about the /home directory. The /home directory stores the personal directory of all users. Each user has their own home directory. For example, if the username is Ram, the home directory is /home/Ram. Users can create, edit, delete and save their personal files in their home directory. Normally, users cannot access or modify another user files unless they have permissions. Easy definitions. /home directory contains the personal directory of all users. Next, we learn about the lib directory. What is lib? The lib directory store library files. These library files are needed by programs and applications to run properly. Many Linux commands and applications use these libraries. Most library files are start with lib or ld. Easy definition: the lib directory store library files that are required by Linux commands and applications to run. The next one directory is /media. What is /media? The /media directory is used to access removable storage devices in Linux. When we connect devices like USB drive, CD, DVD or memory cards, Linux automatically mount them under /media. After mounting, users can open and use the files stored on these devices. What is mounting? Mounting means connecting a storage device into the file system so that users can access its contents. In easy definition, /media directory is a temporary location where Linux mounts removable devices like USB drives, CDs and memory cards. The next one is the /mnt directory. What is /mnt? This directory is used to temporarily attaching storage devices in Linux. When we connect an external devices like a hard disk, USB drive or another storage device, it can be mounted inside /mnt. After mounting, we can access and use the files stored on the device. What is mounting? Mounting means making a storage devices available for the Linux system to use. Linux connect the device directly so user can access its contents. Example, a system administrator may mount a USB drive or another file system. In easy definition, the /mnt directory is a temporary location used to attach and access external storage devices in Linux. The next one is the /opt directory. What is /opt? This directory is used to store additional software application that are not included in the default in Linux installation. Software installed by third-party companies or vendors is usually placed in this directory. It contains the application program files, configuration files and data files. Why is /opt used? It keeps extra applications separate from the main Linux file system. It makes it is easier to manage and remove third-party software. In easy definition, the /OPT directory store optional or additional software applications installed by third-party vendors. /SBIN directory. What is /SBIN? The /SBIN directory contains important system administration commands in Linux. These commands are mainly used by the system administrator or root users to manage and maintain the system. Many commands in /bin need to root permission to run. The next one is the SRV directory, /SRV directory. What is /SRV? This directory store data related to services provided by a Linux server. SRV stands for service. It contains files, data that are shared or provided to use through server applications. Example, web server, FTP server. In simple definition, the /SRV directory store data used by server services such as website, FTP files and other server related information. The next one is the /TMB directory. The TMB directory is used to store temporary files in Linux. Programs and users can create temporary files while performing tasks, and these files are stored here. These files are only needed for a short time. Temporary files are usually automatically deleted. They may be removed when a program finishes its work. The system is restarted. Easy definition: the /TMB directory store temporary files created by the system and user. These files are removed automatically after some time or during a system reboot. The next one is the /USR directory. What is /USR? This directory contains most of the user programs, applications, libraries, and documentation in Linux. It is one of the largest directories in a Linux system. It stores files that are used by normal users and applications. The name USR originally came from Unix system resources. What is stored inside /USR? First one is /USR pin. Contain user command and application programs. If command is not found in pin, it usually available in /USR pin. User applications, common Linux commands. Then user LIB contains library files needed by programs /USR pin and /USR spin. The next one is /USR local stores software that administration install manually. Example, software installed from source code. The next one /USR SRC. It contains source code files. It may include Linux kernel source code and header files. Next directory we learn about the /PROC directory. What is PROC? PROC means process. This directory is a special virtual directory in Linux. It does not store normal files like documents or pictures. It stores real-time information about the Linux system and running process. The information inside /PROC is created by the Linux kernel and changes while the system is running. What are process? A process is a program that is currently running on the computer Each running process